Welcome to the Josh Gerben Show, because law school didn't teach business.
Hi everyone, Josh Gerben here. Welcome to the Josh Gerben Show. If this is your first time here, this is a show about the business of law. I have a really strong belief that if every attorney would think a little bit more about the business of our profession, we would all have much more fulfilled legal careers in the long run. So I hope you enjoy the show and the community I'm trying to create. These videos are never going to require your email address to access, or there's no, it's just all free content. And the idea is that I'm hoping everybody's going to come together and start throwing me questions. So if you have a question about something you want answered, email me, send a comment through one of the videos, and let's try to start a discussion about the business of law and see where it takes us. So today's episode is one of my favorite things to talk about on the business side of any law practice, and that is the website. I'm a huge believer that websites for law firms are just absolutely critical to new client development, especially in today's world and especially looking forward 5 or 10 years. So the reason I feel this way is because I built a law firm out of the clear blue sky with 0 clients simply by having a web presence. Okay, so in 2008, when it wasn't really like the thing to be out there and trying to acquire clients via the web quite yet, I put up a website and I started a law firm and I had no clients. And slowly but surely, through advertising that website and pushing traffic to that website, I would get calls and I would start acquiring clients. And that took me from 0 clients in 2008 to over 5,000 clients we've served in the last 11 years. So if you're drinking the Kool-Aid, right, and you believe me that websites are extremely critical for the survival of your law firm and bringing in new clients going forward, and this could be if you're starting a law practice, you already have an existing law practice, or if you're an associate or partner at a law firm and you want to develop your own client base, okay, and you want to start to build your own practice, thinking about your firm's website and how it markets the firm and the individual attorneys is just absolutely critical. So, there's a lot of content out there about, how to design a law firm website, where the contact form should be, what kind of pictures to use and all that kind of stuff. And that's fine. I'll do a few quick hitters at the end of this video to kind of go over a few of those things that I found to be successful over the years. But what I really wanted to talk to you about is a little bit more of the higher level theoretical idea of what you should be thinking about when you're building your website, because so many lawyers put up a website and don't get any real good response from it because the traffic that's coming to the website isn't the right traffic, okay? So this is not a situation where if you build it, they will come, right? You can put up this really fancy, nice website, but unless people are coming to it, it is completely unseen and unheard. So what I really mean by this is that you have to think about who is the visitor to the website that I want to acquire, and when I acquire that visitor, what will they see? Okay, so most law firm websites will look something like this. You'll have a homepage. There's some nice looking attorneys. Hi, we can help you. We're really nice people. Contact us today. Some accolades, a little bit about what they do. And then there might be an about page. Maybe there's a few interior pages on services, a formal contact page, and that may be about it. So it's, not a lot. Some lawyers have a blog, and that's nice. Typically, it's not updated regularly. So that tends to be your very typical law firm website. The problem is that if you direct a client to your homepage or a prospective client to your homepage through whatever you're doing, whether it's social media, pay-per-click advertising, being out in the world and giving people your business card, and they land on your homepage, and your homepage is just sort of this general thing about your law firm, that's not going to serve whatever need they have of the day, right? And what I mean by this is that if somebody's coming to your website, they're coming there because they need an attorney for something. But if they're hitting a page on your website that doesn't address the something they need, now they've got to go hunt for it. And the one thing I can tell you about all the analytics I have from my website over 11 years is people do not spend a lot of time on law firm websites. Okay? We're lucky if somebody spends a minute or two. Lucky. And I feel we do a pretty good job on our website to try to attract and keep people on there. But nobody's coming to your website for a treasure hunt, right? They want to come to your website, get the information they need, see if you're the right attorney for them, and maybe contact you. And that's what you should be enabling. So you can't just have a static homepage that addresses all the different things you do, or some very general thing. You need to have what we call landing pages, that if somebody comes to a particular page, it's because they're coming there because they've looked for that particular service. So, for example, if your law firm does corporate formation, trusts and estates, maybe you dabble in leases or other employment contracts, and somebody comes to your website and they just come to that homepage and there's all these different things. Now they've got to try to navigate to where they need to get to see about that particular issue. They should be landing on a page that says, hey, we're the best wills and trusts and estates attorney in the area, and here's why. Or, hey, do you need to form a new company? Here's why you should consider using us and not going to LegalZoom, right? Or, oh, do you have a problem with an employee? Do you need employment contracts? Do you need an employment policy? Here's all the information about the work we've done around that. So it needs to be hyper-focused to what the person's coming to your website about. And it just that's a very difficult concept to execute, because it means you can't just put up a 7-page website and call it a day. It means you have to be detailed in thinking about how each visitor is going to come to your website. So if you are putting an ad up on Google for wills, but your firm does 3 or 4 other things, you need to make sure whatever page the person's landing on from that Google ad is just devoted to wills. And it has to look nice. So a lot of the interior pages, right, to a law firm are just text. They don't have all the glitz and glamour of the homepage. The landing page should have all the glitz and glamour of a homepage and feel like a homepage, but it's not actually the homepage. And that's really the secret right there, because then that page is going to convert the person just like the homepage is designed to try to do. But do it in a way that's very focused to the particular issue that prospective client is coming to your website about. Okay, so now that we've got the prospective lead to a page on your website where they haven't navigated around and gone on a treasure hunt to find, and this is the page that talks about the services they need, now we need to talk about what the website needs to do from there. And obviously, what you want to have happen is you want that person to call or contact you, right? So there should be obvious places for this to happen. There should be phone numbers, contact us buttons on this page in a way that's very prominent and easy for the person to find you. But the other thing you need to do, and this is the hardest thing to do, and it's something I can't tell you how to do for your practice, but I can give you the framework and how to think about it, is you need to make sure that when someone comes to your page, it's memorable for some reason, and they would want to select you as their attorney over somebody else for the particular reason that is your differentiator in the marketplace. If you go and look at your competitors' websites, I can almost guarantee you they're going to look all the same, okay? As attorneys, we tend to be monkey see, monkey do, all right? If a lawyer puts up something on their website, we tend to copy it. You know how I know this? I cannot tell you how many other trademark attorneys have taken the way my website looks, feels, and works and pretty much copied it verbatim. Every time I find it, I'm stunned. Sometimes it's legitimate copyright infringement and we've had to address it. But very rarely do attorneys have a unique and original marketing idea. And I very much encourage you to take some time and think about what makes you different. In my case, right, that has changed over the years. At first, our main differentiator is, hey, have great access to an attorney at an extremely affordable price, because I was very young and new. Now that I'm older and have a lot of experience in my field, our value proposition is different. We're no longer the cheapest attorney that you can access, but we're one of the most experienced attorneys you can access at a fee that's very reasonable, right? And we talk a lot about our experience because there's very few attorneys that just focus solely on trademark law. And when you get into the attorneys that do focus solely on trademark law, a lot of times they're in larger law firms, or if they're in smaller firms, they simply do not have the depth of experience that we do. And trying to get that through and convey that is very difficult, but I feel we do a decent job at it, because when people do call us, they say, wow, I've been on your website, I've seen all your reviews, I've seen all these things you put out, videos, articles, whatever it may be, and I know you're the right guy for me. So before I even have to open my mouth on a phone call, a prospective client has decided they really want to work with me. So as long as I don't mess it up, right? As long as I don't say something or do something that is inconsistent with all my marketing that has led that person to contact me, very likely I'm going to be able to engage that client for whatever trademark need they have. And that's what I think you need to do for your practice, is you need to think about, okay, what is my differentiator? What makes me unique? And then you need to scream it from the mountaintops on the website. Don't have your website look like everybody else. Don't, they come to the website, here I am, shake my hand, I'm an attorney, I've done this, I've done that. That's great. Use language on your website that is fun, engaging. Don't use this legalese stuff you see on so many websites. It's just going to make people put you in the same category as everybody else. If your website is fresh and fun and creative and really differentiates you and really pops, you're going to get remembered, and most likely you're going to get that call. And so with that in mind, that framework, again, a lot easier said than done, okay? And I don't even think that, we've hit the holy grail. If you come view our website, I don't think we've hit the holy grail in making that perfect either. It's completely a work in progress that we're always working on. But the one thing I would encourage you to do to get there is have a video of yourself on this page. Again, we don't want people hunting for stuff. So you can have other videos throughout the website, and you have a small percentage of people that will go through your website and find these things and really enjoy them. We'll talk about that a little later. But for this homepage, have an easily accessible video of yourself explaining your differentiator, right? And talking to the person. Because if someone can come to your website and see you and meet you and see how you interact, see your mannerisms, see how you talk, you're going to become human to them, and they're much more likely to want to trust you with whatever problem they're facing. Now, before I move on to what I think you can work on your website for existing clients, I want to talk about how the two things I just talked about would be applicable if you're working in a law firm and you don't own the law firm, okay? So if you're working in a law firm that has an existing website, you need to think about two things. One, how do I get visitors to the website for a page on the website that would talk about the service I want to provide? And then how do I differentiate myself? So what I would suggest is that you come up with a particular service, ideally a flat rate, something you can package, right? And you say, this is what I want to offer new clients to get them in the door and start working with me. So think of it as, in the business world, it can be referred to as a loss leader. So maybe it's not even something you make a lot of money on, but it's a way to engage a client and get them as a new client in the door that you can then start offering them an array of other services. Or maybe you do make money on it, right? And it's still a nice way to get them in the door, and then you can start offering them other services. So think about the one thing you would like to offer and ask your law firm if you can build a page on the website that talks about this particular service that you can provide. And then get a little budget and start pushing some traffic. Go online, buy some advertisements on Google, put up some social media posts, and start to try to push traffic to that particular page. Again, not the law firm's homepage, but to that particular page. And then when they get to that page, do a little bit about what we just talked about. Try to have the content be fresh. If you can, get a video of yourself on there. Do anything you can to try to be memorable. So this may take a little bit of convincing, depending on your law firm. But the idea is you should think about this and offer it as a test. Put yourself out there. And I think if you start getting phone calls, you're going to get a lot of attention in your firm. So the second point I want to talk about when you're thinking about the website for your law firm is making it a resource for existing clients. And this is because once somebody's in the door, it's unlikely they're going to go back to the website unless you prompt them to do so. Every once in a while they may go back just to check on something, just to make sure they feel like they're with the right person, right? They might want to compare you to somebody else. But the idea is going to be use your website as a library or a resource for your existing clients. Something I did is we created something that we call the Trademark University, which is essentially a page on our website that has a whole bunch of videos about frequently asked questions that we get from our clients. Sometimes prospective clients, but mostly from existing clients. So this way here, if I get an email from somebody and they say, hey, I have this question, and I might get that question 7 times a week, I can respond with an email that says, here's a video I did on this very question. Please go watch and enjoy. And if you still have questions about this for your matter, then let me know. And 9.9 times out of 10 takes care of the problem, and they love it. They say, that was a great video, thank you so much. Because people can then absorb the content in their own way. In other words, if I'm just talking to the person and giving them an answer on the telephone, it's in and out of my mouth and in and out of their ear, and they may not really have understood it. But in a video, they could watch it multiple times, and they can stop at the places where they're not exactly getting it and think about it. So it's a very, very good resource for an existing client. It also shows that you have taken a lot of care and thought about these things, right? So, for example, sometimes you have issues that you may be advising a client on, and the client will push back because the client will say to you, well, I don't know if I agree with your take there. And if you send them a video you did which explains why you think your take is correct, that's going to get you a lot of credibility because you've put it out there that this is the way it is, and it's on video, right? It's not just, so they know you're not just telling them, that you're telling everybody. And it gives you a lot more credibility with the client if and when you need it. So having this resource for existing clients, I think, is incredibly important because it'll make your practice easier and it'll also make your clients happier to interact with you. And finally, when they get back to your website, you can try to upsell or cross-sell them to other services you offer. So there can be ways where if you send a client something and you're finishing a matter, you might be able to say, hey, please also take a look at this page on our website, which goes over all the other things we could help you with. Is there anything here you may need, right? Or if you identify a need for a client, you can send them to a page on your website that says, hey, we're working on this, but I know it looks like you also need to be doing X, Y, or Z. Here's a page on our website that describes why this is important. Right? So you have the existing marketing materials that help you cross-sell or upsell to the existing client on your website. Use your website as a resource. Very, very important because you can really grow your practice by focusing on clients that already trust you and are already working with you. All right, so I hope you have found all the things we've talked about so far really helpful. I've got 3 quick hitters that I think are going to be really important to you from just a practical perspective when you're trying to think about creating or redoing the current website you have. The first is one of my favorites, which is thinking about web design. I think there's so much that can be done, but the number one rule is KISS. Keep it simple, stupid, okay? You hear that a lot in business. But if you have one of these websites that has all these bells and whistles and all this stuff on it, there is nobody that's going to go through all of that, okay? So it needs to be extremely simple and to the point. Don't make people hunt for things. If you have a video of you talking, that should be a focal point of the website and build the rest around it. Don't try to put that there and 20 other bells and whistles on the same page. Okay, so think about how clean and simple you can keep the design. And for the love of God, please don't have one of these websites that scrolls on forever. Okay, because all that is just like, okay, I got to scroll through this, get to the end of the page. You know, a little scrolling's okay. Our website scrolls a little bit, probably scrolls a little bit too much even for my liking. But nice, simple, clean. Get them to call you or email you as quickly as you can while providing a good amount of baseline information. And I think you'll have a lot of success if you follow that. So the second tip is that inputs equal outputs when you're working with your web designer. So as good as the inputs are going to be highly dependent on what the output or the final website looks like. So if you don't give your web developer good photography or videos or good content to use, and they're just left to try to figure it out on their own, it's not going to look good. Not going to look good at all. So before you even engage the web developer, you want to think about a couple of things. One, getting your photography done yourself. Hire a good photographer. Have a bunch of different pictures that they can choose from and use for the website. Okay. Record some videos that can be used for the website. And then you need to think about how you'd like the website to be laid out. Do look at other law firm websites, but most importantly, look at other service-based websites that are meant to convert visitors, right? So law firms, all those websites tend to look the same. I think it's important to know what's out there. But really look at websites that you like, just the general feel of them, that would make you feel like you want to contact the company. And then lay it out. When I've done it, I just sketch it out on a piece of paper and I say, hey, here's what I think the general look should be. And then obviously you want feedback from your web developer, but most of the time, unless you're paying the top of the line designers that are out there, which most of us are not going to be doing, they're just going to take what you have and turn it into a website. So really spend some time and think about how you want it to look, about what the text should be, about where things should be on the website. Do some research, learn yourself, make it a fun process. I know it's going to be time consuming, but I promise you that the more you put into that homework and give that to the developer, the better your website's going to be. My final tip is you're going to have to spend real money on this, okay? You can go online and get a template and put a website up for $20, fine. If you're not spending $10,000 at minimum on your web developer, you're not spending enough money. And I know that's a lot of money, and you probably can easily spend $20,000 or $30,000, okay? It's because when you look at how many pages you need to create to do what I'm talking about and have a page for each individual service and think about all the design that goes into that and all the infrastructure that goes on into your website, you really need to let somebody spend some time and help you with it. Now be careful, because there's a lot of companies out there that claim they do lawyer websites, right? And I've seen some of them at $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. I would be very careful about something like that. You want to have a proper leash on the web developer, and that's why I think $10,000 is a good starting place. If they're quoting you, $3,000 to $4,000 to $5,000, they're definitely not considering that they're going to be doing a lot of design work. They're basically going to be putting everything you give them to a template. So $10,000 to $20,000 I think is really the sweet spot for most attorney and law firm websites. Anything more than that, you're typically into some really heavy design work, which is fine if that's what you want. But if you're getting quoted more than $20,000, you really need to make sure you understand what you're getting. If you're getting quoted less than $10,000, you have to keep in mind there's really not going to be any design work being done on your website. They're going to be plugging and chugging with a template. So those are my 3 quick hitters. I hope that the show today was really helpful in getting you to think about your website in a little bit of a different way. If you found this helpful, please, please, please share this with other lawyers. Share this with people you know. I'm trying to get the word out that we're doing this show. And it would mean the world to me if you would just rate the show, leave a comment, share it with somebody. That's all I ask. And if you have a topic you'd like me to talk about, please send that along as well. I'm looking for topics. Every week I'm trying to put out a show, so the more topics I can get in, the better. Thank you very much, and look forward to seeing you next time.